I'm not sure what caused it to crash, but I'm back now. I had to put the title back and everything. But now that it's now live again, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go on the break. I will return once all of this is cured. Put a little Canadian Tire mini bucket somewhere. That'd be kind of funny. We'll be back. I'm gonna get a refill on this coffee. It's the only thing keeping me going right now. I'm gonna hit this stuff away from the coffee. Oh, we got three people. Hello. Hello. I'm sorry the stream crashed. I had to restart it. Ooh. Ooh. I had to redo the stream and I had to redo this. Okay. Okay. Well, I can show you how I do this. So, of course, maintenance will come up. I'll have to take off this piece that has been glued. That is simple. All you need is two things. X-Acto knife with a little tiny hammer. Or, I guess you could hit it with a wrench or whatever. I got this little hammer, so I like it. You wedge it between where it's been glued and you whack. Pretty simple concept. I'm trying to separate it because I don't know if you can see, but I fucked up. That tiny little edge there is going to really mess up my day if I leave it like that. So maybe if that's not gonna do it. I'm gonna have to separate this. Unfortunate. I used a lot of glue, so this isn't gonna come out very easy. This part doesn't bear a lot of load, so I maybe shouldn't have used so much. But it also hasn't fully cured, so I might be able to get it off a little easier than I think. Honestly, it's never been this difficult. I guess it's because I'm on camera now. Tends to be the case. Remember, kids, always come towards yourselves. Oh, there. I got one side. I got one of it. I got one of it. But I didn't get it proper. I'll tell you what. If I have to reprint the valve chest, it's probably not the end of the world. Oh man, why did I have to fuck up so bad? I fucked up almost along every single step of this build. And it's probably because I'm on camera. That's the fuck up every time. Right there, it should be the last corner. Yep. Alright, it didn't come off as bad as I thought. Okay. I only lost this much plastic. Upsetting. I'll use less glue next time. just filing the old glue off. So when I put the new glue on, it sits properly. I do not want to do this again. So this time around, I have to make sure I get it right. I better use this way. Okay. Where'd the glue go? Ah. Yeah, these two edges, all the edges on the cylinder here and the valve chest there, every corner needs to be flush. And that's what I got wrong last time. So this time around, I gotta make sure it's perfect. put right, place it in the chuck. What we building? I can show you. Let me just set this here. I'm building another one of these. I am taking this fucking bottle off of this man. That's annoying. A trapezium connecting rod engine. I designed this last year in December. I built this one last year in December, and I'm making a new one now. It runs on compressed air. Pretty nice. I got a few different air engines, but this is the one I'm making now. I'm pretty proud of this one. So far, I think it's my best design, but apparently it's debatable. My coffee got cold. No. Where did that file go? I had one just here, and then it's poof, gone. Every time. Oh. I lost a little bit of plastic along the way, but that minor fuck up won't really affect anything from here on, so I'm glad about that. I think this edge should be filed a little bit. I got plastic dust in my eye. Now the holes are round, there's no bits left over, flat ends from printing. I've been kind of rushing it. I think most of the fucking up has been due to me rushing the bit. I gotta stop rushing the bit. Finally, I can put this onto here. And this is also the right length. Should be one more. I'll have to get that out. What the fuck? What the fuck? Man, if I should have made this a shorter, use a shorter bolt. There's room. This is a design issue here. Well, anyways. So this is very important. You want these here, this here, to align with the crank. And now it can be off by like maybe about half a millimeter, maybe a millimeter, but this is important because this is for your timing, and the valve timing for the engine is pretty important. Yeah, it goes this way, not that way. Now, I think I can use one of these tiny little ones. Which would be nice because I never get to use these tiny little 4mm M3 hex socket machine screws. There we go. And that fits snug. So this right here is just a, like, there's no mounting point. But the reason this is here, just to make everything look better, because there's 6 bolts all around, and there's only like 5 points not spaced radially, so I added the 6th to make it look nice. And it just sits there. So there's a dummy bolt. Upsetting, isn't it? Where is the crosshead assembly? Crosshead. That can take another 5mm. And put these all around. 5mm M3. Oh wait. This one goes, these 4 go in last. And maybe I shouldn't have countersunk those if they're not gonna be countersunk. Oh. these four need to be of a longer size. These are supposed to face on this side with the mirror finish pointing in. The 12mm bulb did it justice. That's the right size right there. Mirror finish on the inside. Now before I attach all of that, I'm going to put inserts. So I need to drill out the threads out of this because this is a heat insert. I don't want it to have threads. I want it just to be 3mm hole. So I'm going to drill out the threads from the inside. It should be pretty simple because it's brass. Maybe I should clamp on it a little harder. But I gotta hit it from both sides because my bit isn't large enough. Fuck! It's behind the box. It's gone. It's behind the vacuum. Almost done. I just gotta hold it here. That's what I want. But I need 2 of them. No, I used to use plastic spacers printed instead, but they kept on getting crushed from the force of the piston. So I started using these heat inserts as like a bushing instead. And so far that's worked great. And there's our 2. And I'm not even gonna heat insert it. I'm just gonna be placing it into these holes, just the right size, and pressing it in with some pliers or vice grips. Honestly, if I took this crosshead off now, I'd probably just stick it in the vise. Yeah, I'm actually gonna do that. Then it would be a lot more square to the face there, because that's a little important. I'm just gonna stick it in the vise like this, and kind of press the 2 heat inserts in with no heat. I'll do it here at the edge just a little bit, but to get the nice flush press that I want, I gotta put it right here in between where the screw is. There we go. There we go. That's what I want. Flush, brass bushing. And I have a few, what are these? M3 pins, Davis pins, that I can test the fit with. That's pretty good. There's a little play, but up and down there's not, which is where I want. Because all of this motion will be held with the crosshead. So I don't have to worry about that side to side jerking movement. I just have to worry about that up and down. Now, ideally, I would want to put 2-piece wedge bearings. These, this is how they would traditionally be done on an engine like this, is you'd have one side of the bushing, and then it would be separated, and have the other side. and then you can bring them closer together with a set screw. And what that does is, as the bearing wears down, is you can bring them closer and closer together, because these aren't ball bearings. But this design here does use ball bearings. I'm just using this bushing here to hold everything in place, because this might spin a little bit. But for the parts that are actually rotating, transmitting load, I have these bearings, which are hilariously tiny. For the top of the connecting rod, I have 2 of them. They are tiny, but it's not the smallest bearing I've seen. They're just pretty small. I guess I'll start working on the eccentric and the timing, or I'll leave that to the side and finish up the connecting rod. That seems a bit more exciting. I gotta clean up this print. A lot of the prints I don't have to clean up because they're printed properly in the right orientation and they're designed properly. Some things were just a weird shape and I couldn't get it right. So some things need cleaning up. think that's good. Let's clean up some extra bits. Aren't too necessary for the function, but more for the look. Two of these buttons. Some nuts. Oh, I dropped a nut. Where is the wrench? It's kind of too late, I guess. Ow. Ow. Is that bent? That's bent. Bent right there. Better than it was. I've got to mark off where to cut these bolts. This one thread a bit deeper. That's good. Okay. And then I gotta cut it, the hacksaw. But first I noticed there was gonna be an issue with mounting this. Oh. That's not good. Maybe there will be no issue. There's gonna be an issue. Oh. Issue resolved? Question mark? Yes. Yes. Oh yeah. How do I get these bearings in there? Oh, I can't lose this shit. Alright, I'm gonna try with some pliers. I can't get this. I don't have an armor press, I wish I did. But, sometimes you just gotta do it the wrong way before you can do it the right way. Otherwise, you'll never be able to get anything done. You'll be like, oh, but I need this to do this. But I need this to do this. I prefer to just wing it. See what happens, then have to wait. Depends on what it is, really. But for something like this, most definitely. It worked for the other one. Why not this one? I need to file it out a bit. I think that's actually gonna work. Oh, almost. It's getting in, going in. Oh, it's taking difficulty. With some difficulty, it's going in. Trying not to damage the bearing here. Oh, it's in. And the bearing is good. Look at that. I couldn't really ask more there. It's perfect alignment. I'm excited for this one. I gotta mark that out. I gotta mark where I need to cut. Use a Sharpie. Right about there. You see I got the cut mark on there with Sharpie. So I can still fit a bolt. I gotta grab a hacksaw. Yeah, that's a big one. Damn, it's almost just enough that I could butt it up to the vise and cut it, but it's just too long. I'm just gonna have to do it like this. hitches. I think that's good. I hope it threads on. Give it a test. If not, I get at it with my needle file. Oh, oh, perfect. Threads on that side. Let's check this one. Perfect. Threads on. So that's the always scary bit about cutting a threaded rod. Is that something you'll mess up the threads, but you just file off the end a little bit, round it off a little bit. Should be good. Usually threads on. Much better. It's getting fairly tricky here. Come on, thread. Turn it upside down. Goes with that idea. Fuck. Good thing I got a one extra nut. Otherwise, it would have been a mild inconvenience. couldn't be any more perfect than that, huh? Put this through here. Put this in here. Yeah, I'm all having a good day. Just like that. Wait, this is sideways. I gotta pull this out. I think I'm gonna bring an M3 nuts I have. Too many nuts. Too many nuts. You're gonna love my nuts. I wish you got a slap chop. I kind of want to make it a motorized version, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Huh. I guess I gotta remove the other. This is why I'm building it, is because when I gotta like know exactly what I used to make it, because I kind of forgot since last year. So I'm remaking it. I'm counting all the materials. And now I just realized I have one too many rods here, because I thought that you'd have to make this piece and this piece here separate from these two rods, but the cuttings off of these two rods you can make these out of, so it's a lot easier than I thought. Only two 200mm M3 rods. Damn, this thread is fucked up. Okay. There's only one way to fix something like that. A little bit of filing. A little bit of filing, it goes right on. Then you add documentations and guides on how to assemble your design. How to assemble is a bit of a stretch. I just got the blueprint of how to model everything yourself. I mean, putting it together, pretty straightforward. You can do it off this complete ISO view. Knowing where each part goes. And I was just making this a live stream, so then you know the nuances. But honestly, I don't really know how to make a set of instructions for something like this. I'm just gonna make the files available, and you know these blueprints here, and you know, away at it anyone can go. I'm not really sure what to do as far as that. I'm going to, I just found out that what step files are. So I didn't have to make, you know, this, but I mean, now that I have it, I might as well publish it as well. But I converted each part file into a step file so you can download it into your own CAD software. Yeah, step files are pretty good. I just learned about them. I didn't realize that you could transfer like the models from different CAD programs like so easily, but apparently you can just do it. So I didn't have to put a whole week into this. Upsetting. Well, now that the crosshead and the connecting rod is all done, I can start working on the eccentric. We love eccentrics. Eccentrics are fun. My eccentric just uses, it's not gonna fit. It fits a little more snug than I was expecting, or any of my previous designs ever have. Which is concerning. I'm gonna press it on there and I'll worry about it. It's just going there. It's going on no matter what. I've got things to do. So now we've got the bearing around the eccentric. And then that's where the set screw goes, right there. Here's the spot for a nut to slide in. And that will hold on. Now, I think I might. Nah, it's fine like that. Okay. This goes around here and clamps onto it. But first, I'm gonna attach the rod that attaches to it, which needs a millimeter M3. Damn, the desk's a mess again. I'm gonna have to take a break to clean up. That sucks. Now these threads here, this is just going in, and the threads are locking in on the plastic. So I don't want to tighten it too much, otherwise I will strip it. And then that's it's done for. But it's a pretty strong connection, so don't worry. You gotta love threads. Do you use PLA for the engines or Pt.2? I use PLA for everything. Everything. And there it is. That's the Eccentric. It's actually pretty heavy for what it is. Honestly, if only I can get a thinner bearing there. That's about this wide. It has to be this wide, so that I can get the same display, like stroke displacement. But if only it could be thinner, less metal, less weight, less mass being thrown around, be a little bit better for the engine. But the plastic isn't really contributing to that, so I can't really change any of that myself. It's the bearing itself. Do you use TPU to make gaskets? Gee. Or do any of your engines have a gasket? No. The answer is no to both. So basically I use pneumatics in my air engines, and I just get those off like AliExpress, keep it cheap. Valves and cylinders are off the shelf. And soon I'm getting a welder, so I'm gonna start being able to use some larger pneumatic cylinders rather than this Lego cylinders. But since I've been using Lego pneumatic cylinders, most of the engine is plastic. Though those are the only parts that aren't PLA, because it's like knockoff Lego. It's like ABS or something. Maybe I should. Yeah, I'm gonna get the adjustable wrench once I go on my break here. What if? Ugh, that's not working. That ain't working. Well, the way you do it. But let me tell you, them guys ain't dumb. Maybe get a pistol on your little finger. Maybe get a pistol on your thumb. Yeah. And then this part is new. I haven't even tried this out yet or tested it. So before, I used to have just a screw to move this up and down and along this rod to adjust it to where it needs to be. But now I've decided to do this where there's holes in the rod as well, and then you can put a piece of filament, just filament cut off of the roll, and lock it in place like that, and then go like that. But we'll see if this works, if the holes are in the right spot or not, if I have to move it. This is a quick part to print, so I'm not too worried about that. But I did this because the screws that I was getting, it was just kind of scrap screws. Like I said, I just kind of use whatever I have laying around. But I didn't want it to be scrap. I wanted it to know where I'm getting these materials from. I wanted to know how to, build more of them if I wanted to. So I had to make sure that I could either make it myself or reorder the part. So I just did this. And so what this does, this ring goes in between here. And then this rod goes up in here. And then you put that piece of filament in. And that locks it all together. And then that will be sitting in here, and that will slide up and down, moving the valve, switching, turning this radial motion from the valve here, the switch, into a linear motion that the eccentric can push equally both ways, which is very important if you want the engine to run smoothly. And I figured that out the hard way, like immediately as I was building the engines. And the Scotchy oak fixed the problems. But this is basically how that was done. There's the Lego valve. The Scotchy oak goes in there and pushes it up and down. And then there's the piston, it goes up and down. You set the timing with the eccentric here, is a set screw. And that's pretty much all there is to it. It's a pretty simple engine. Hey, I forgot the heat insert. Oh no. I'll do that and then I'll go on my break. Cause I don't need it. Thank you. Man, it needs to be hotter. Bullshit. Melted plastic coming out of there. And then another heat insert in the clevis. We got the joint. It connects the valve rod to the eccentric rod. So this is important. It's an adjustable joint, so you can adjust the height, like how far away the points are. so you can have equal admission on either side of the piston, because if you don't have this adjustment point, you won't be able to adjust for that once the engine's built, and then you'll have to remake this rod a bunch of times until it's proper, which is not ideal. You want to just be able to set it on the fly. Oh man, I realized I did this wrong. I'm gonna have to take this out if I can. I can't. Heat. Come on. I don't want to remake this ride. It's coming out with difficulty, but now I gotta redo it. I gotta like roll it around while it's hot, so it's flush again. How many fails for prints do you occur during large pieces? Honestly, I don't get a lot of failure during large prints, and honestly, the best thing to do is don't do large prints. That is like the key rule. But if you have to, you just do it. There's not really much setup. You just make sure everything's right as you would any print, and then you just kind of cross your fingers. If you want to be really safe about it, you can do it during the day, but I usually do long prints at night, and I fall asleep, and then I just wake up and see what happens. It's probably not the best thing to do, but it's what I do. So. Okay, what I'm gonna do is a bit different here. I'm gonna insert the heat insert on the screw. So I'm going to put the head of the bolt behind the heat insert. Actually, wait, I put it on backwards for me doing that. Wait. the heat insert goes on backwards onto the screw with the flat side facing out. Like that. And then with pliers, you're gonna want to hold it with pliers. You heat up the whole thing. The stainless steel head and the heat insert, and then you just put it into the rod. The space provided. And then you can kind of fold over the plastic if you want to what that'll do is hold in the heat insert a little bit better, like mechanically. I just do that with my nail. Just kind of fold it over, push it down. This forms part of the adjustment for the valve. Early in the morning, rising to a street. Let me up a cigarette and a strap shoes in my feet. Got to find the reason things went wrong. Got to find the reason why my money's all gone. Alright, there is what we're looking for. So let me take this off. It's just a rod with some thread coming off that end. Once it's cooled down, you can use the rod. The rod sits here. Okay, if it needs this much persuasion to get into the hole, take out your file. Because we're filing. After this kind of work, think about the needle files. A nice big one will help you greatly. I honestly don't even know where I got these files. I just always kind of had them. You want it to slide like that, but there's a tight spot, so we got to get rid of that. Still a little tight there. Basically with files, heat, whatever, you reduce the diameter and you get it going through the holes nice and smooth. That's as good as it needs to be, really. Isn't a nice smooth motion up and down. And that it can fall on its own with gravity. Well, for the most part. If it can, that's bad. But it just needs to be smooth in all orientations. So I'm going to start setting this up. Whoa. Here's a ton of microplastics, so I'm gonna fucking sweep this up. Might be better to do something like this in outdoors, or maybe not outdoors. Maybe you want to keep all the microplastics contained. I don't know. It's kind of up to you. And this kind of shit, I don't really know what to do about it. It's just kind of everywhere. I probably have more microplastics in me than anyone else. I don't know. I'm fucking huffing this shit. But maybe wear a respirator when you're doing something like this. Maybe that would be a good idea. Don't do this at home. I am an unprofessional. Be professional. Yow. Just to find the reason why my money's all gone. I got all my time. I can still get high. I told myself I was going on a fucking break. I always be telling myself, I'll go on a break, I'll take a break, and then I don't take a break. I'm not sure if this is properly adjusted, but that's where I have to get air going through this first before I can do that. Oh, there's no set screw. There needs to be a set screw. Fuck. Oh, yay. What have I done? I hope I can recover this. Maybe something pointy. Allen key, maybe? What? How do I push this out? I got myself in a pickle. Oh, man. You printed upgrades for my print? No, I haven't. I haven't needed to. This is mind-boggling me right now. I'm not able to get this. I pushed the nut too far in, and if you can see, it's kind of past that edge there. It's kind of hard to get out. Maybe I can use a sewing needle. It's working. I did it. I just need one of these. These are M3 pointed set screws. Wait, I need a slightly larger bit. .5 millimeter. Okay. I'll start at 90 degrees to the crank, and I'll adjust from there. I'm not gonna do anything with the timing yet, because it's gonna be a little bit more. I need a flywheel on there first. Here's the tool I made to hold the ball. I made this out of wire. So I could hold these balls here. I have to heat insert all of these. These are just weights. But they get pressed in here. Yeah, the back of the screwdriver should work. And now what I usually do is I alternate between the holes. So I do one hole every other hole. I'm gonna have to press this one in the vise. But I do every other hole to spread the heat around evenly. 1, 2, yeah, and then I'll go around and do the rest of the holes. Just because of warping. I don't want it to warp too much. Honestly, it's probably a better way to do it, but uneven heating and cooling will warp the part, so I don't want the flywheel to be all wonky. That would be pretty upsetting. Is there a fly in my camera? What's happening there? I'm gonna bring the vise over. The vise seems to be a better way of doing this. Get it nice and square. I need to print a new handle for this thing. Yeah, but you know, everything that needs to get printed won't, and everything I want to get printed will. Where is the... This is probably one of the more tedious parts of this whole thing. But it's alright. Honestly, I've thought of like a more efficient way to get these all hot would be like to put them in some kind of metal bowl and put it in the oven. But I don't have a metal bowl that isn't full of something that's gonna explode, and I don't want to do that. So I'm just gonna stick to the blowtorch for now. Whoa! Everything's getting hot. See, this is where I would want an arbor press. Like, it would be so much easier. Anyways. It's always fun to see, as you heat up the steel, it sweats a little bit. It leaches the moisture that is soaked into the metal. You can see it as it builds up on the outside, and then it immediately vaporizes off. Especially, you can see it a lot more clearly if it's shiny and polished, because you'll be able to see it in the reflection, rather covering up the reflection. Once I get half of them in, I'm gonna let it cool down, and then I will come back and do the rest of the balls. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more to go. So I've already done 10, I think. Yeah, because there is 30 all around. Oh, I'm burning myself. That's no good. Next time I do this, I might have like a little glass of water to put these little clamps into, just so they can cool off in between me inserting this ball. I'm picking up a new one because it's still pretty hard after all of that. A lot of repetitive steps with the flywheel, and it can be pretty tedious. And you know, I've learned to be very, very patient with these kind of things, and just, you know, tedious things where you got to do the same thing over and over again. You know, in a way, it can kind of be soothing. You know what I mean? You're just doing, you're just in with the flow. You know, once you got in it, you're just doing it. Anyways, I've got every other one seated in, and now I'm just gonna let it cool down, and then I'll come back to it, and then I'll do the rest. So I'm gonna be taking a break. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. I'll be back. I'm back. This hasn't quite cooled down yet. Well, I guess I'll grab the compressor because I got, once the flywheel's done, I gotta plug it into air. Clean up a bit while this is cooling down. The engine is almost done. Now I can get back to, I'm sure it's cooled down by now. Sort of, around the ring. It's got a little bit left to go. All right, well, I've cleaned up the spot a lot better. This is almost cooled down. Not much left to do, really. Where did that one piece go that I didn't know where to put it, but now I know where to put it. Oh damn, I lost it. Something's happened. Oh, there it is. So what's great about this build is that it didn't take so long to assemble because I had everything already printed. The hardware I already had. And I mean, I had the blueprint and the parts list to follow. So I knew everything that I needed to have. But the reason why I built it before I published it like this is because I am I'm checking. Like I found that I have an extra, where did it go? I have an extra rod listed that shouldn't be there. So let's say you're ordering exactly what you need, you'd end up with extra pieces still. That's not super ideal. I mean, you should have extra pieces, but I've seen people who just want to order just what they want before they build something, which I guess kind of makes sense. Maybe you don't want a whole bunch of clutter piling up of old material from projects, but I don't know, for me, the more material, the better. That's how I think about it. I'm just like, I could use this, I could use that, I'll take anything. But, you know, other people are trying to purge their junk out of their stuff, so I understand. Anyway, now that this is cooled down, I can start working on this again. The other half of heating these in. It's a tedious process. Bring everything closer in so you can see what's going on. So put it in there. I'm gonna get another one. Speed it up. Place it. Push it down a little bit. Big it up. Open the vise. Stick it in, close the vise, and then repeat. It's a pretty simple but tedious process because you gotta do 30 of them. Now, I've gotten away with just heating them up enough that you can just push them in by hand, but you can save a little bit of gas doing this just by having an arbor press or a vise handy to press them in with leverage through the gear or the screw. And to hold the ball bearings, I made this like kind of set of pliers out of some tie wire. Just because the balls are an odd shape, you can't just hold them in regular pliers. I'm trying to go faster here, but I keep fumbling. So I think the best way to go about it is nice and steady. A steady pace. Whoops. Yeah. I might make a new set of these that have wider handles, but I can't print the handles because it's going to be hot. Hot enough to melt the plastic, of course, because that's the point. So I'm going to need wooden handles, and luckily I made a small wood lathe to do such a thing. I just haven't gotten around to using it because the lathe works, the tool rest sucks because as everything goes, you build everything right, and then right at the end of the project, you're so anxious to use the thing, you end up rushing it. And then so now the last piece that I made for the wood lathe, the tool rest, it's kind of jank. It kind of sucks because I rushed it. And the same went for my drag saw with the vise, but those can be improved. Those can be reworked. Not much to say during this part. This is the end of it. I'm almost through. I'm just concentrating to get the rest of it done. Because this is why I don't have a lot of flywheels. And I could make these better, but I simply want the flywheel to be a solid piece. I could make this like sandwiching the balls. I could have it like, you know, a little bit faster to assemble. But it won't be one solid piece. And you'll see what I mean when I'm done. It's in. One more to go, and the flywheel, I'll have all the weights in it. I'll have to let it cool down again. But once that's done, we can get working on the valve timing because we can start running the engine and adjusting it from there. That's the most exciting part. Right, just let it cool down. Now I just wait. And I've kind of already cleaned everything up. So I can get the fitting is connected, so I can connect it to the air compressor, I guess. Now what I'm hoping also is that by heat inserting each one of these balls around in there, it's gonna melt together the layer lines in theory. And that should hopefully make the rim of the flywheel a bit stronger and hopefully prevent bursting in a high speed scenario. And that's just a theory. I don't know. But something is better than nothing. So, because I mean, as this engine is only going to be running at slow speeds, roughly like 100 to 500 RPM max, like, it's not pushing 1,000. I don't think so. I mean, maybe, I don't know. My eyes aren't a very good gauge. I need an RPM gauge. But I don't think this thing is capable of bursting a flywheel. So I got peace of mind for that. I don't see much warping going on, but we'll see. Damn, this sucks. I gotta wait for it to cool down. I can't cool it too fast because that could also cause warping. It's just gotta slowly cool down. I can't do anything about it. This is the worst part, waiting. I might be a little bit anxious for this to work. I just wanna get to it and at it. It's still pretty hot. I'm not really. Stream load won't load. That sucks. Womp. Womp womp. I'm not really sure. It might be my end, it might be your end. I hope it's not my end. That would mean the whole fucking stream sucks. But at least there'll be the recording at the end, so. All I'm doing is waiting for these balls to set in, each one of these, and this whole thing to cool down, because then I can start working on the next steps and complete the flywheel so I can get it onto the shaft and start testing the engine, because I can only really start running it when the flywheel is on there. And I'm not really too sure when this will cool down. Maybe I should get the thermal, like the infrared thermometer out. Okay, so it is, flywheel's cooled down. I'm going to put the flywheel onto the shaft temporarily. It's not, the flywheel isn't finished, but it will work. It's just not aesthetically pleasing. So a minute runs, that's great. But I mean, these engines always run. I need to get it running smoothly and slowly, and then I know the timing is on point. Because if I can get it running smooth and slow, I know that when it's going fast, that it's perfect. It's hard to tell when it's going fast. Give the slightest bit of air pressure. Carefully adjust it. A bit more air pressure. A bit of oil. Oil in here. Get it going faster and just run that in. Wait, these should be double nuts. Look away, I'm about to do something horrendous. Look away now. Don't look, don't look, don't look. It's fine. It's fine. I think if I set the valve timing just a little bit more advanced, it'll run better. Well, it works well. I gotta finish up this flywheel. Timing and everything can be adjusted a little bit better. In fact, the valve still needs lubrication. Maybe I shouldn't have run it that long without, but it's all right. It wasn't that long. But I need there's 3 pieces left to affix to this flywheel. And then it's done. Actually, wait. Are there 4? No, just the 2. On each side and the outer ring. And then after the flywheel, there's one last piece which finishes everything. Just gotta move everything aside. I can finish the flywheel. Now for the flywheel, we got these pieces here, and they have a mirror finish on one side, and I have to make sure that mirror finish stays on the outside. I have to make sure that's facing outwards. And ideally, I don't want the mirror finish on this rim here to be facing outwards as well. So that goes up, this goes down, this goes like this way. And I just got to this. I don't need this. I gotta move this. Open the glue. Okay. So I need to put the glue onto the face of this thing. There's a surprising amount of glue used, and I don't like it. Every time I use glue, I hate it. And I mean, for this part, I don't know how I could get around it, just because I'm using glue to get multiple colors. Oh, I grabbed the glue. My hand gonna be sticky. Okay, well, I don't want to be stuck to this thing. Please. Okay, we'll use the outer ring here to align it with this, and then we push it all around, make sure it's all in. And then we do the same with this part. Make sure the mirror finish stays on the outside. This time I'm going to do it a little bit different. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that again. This is scary. I don't want to drop glue everywhere. This shit never comes off, man. And the only thing to get it off, acetone, sort of ruins a lot of things. So I don't have to take my chances with that stuff. Well, that did one half. I think there is a bit of acetone in this, in the glue itself, you know, just to, fuck, I dropped some, fuck. Just to, you know, have everything, dissolve into the acetone. And that's probably what is fucking evaporating into my eyes right now. Hopefully, it's acetone and not some other gunk I don't know about. I don't know, maybe cyanoacrylate just does this. I have no idea. I think it's I don't know. It's Gorilla Glue, the same super glue it's always been. It's aligned, it's on. It's working out. It's working out. If only I had like a bunch of clamps to put around it. I don't have a bunch of clamps. I don't know. Just gonna work with what I got. It's the best way to do it. The only way to do it. And then for this last bit, I need to do it on top of some cardboard. this much super glue really takes a beating on your nose, right? Really takes a punch out of it. Sinuses beware, I'll tell you what. But now, I just kind of gotta let it cure. Flywheel's done. That's also where the pulley attaches to, so. only I had some kind of shim stock or something. Oh, maybe I do. Yeah, I'm not getting that there. Why is there so much? It's this. Well, in that case. Using some paper to shim the space between the rod and the yoke. That way, there's no slack as it moves. It can easily be replaced. For the final touch, I'm gonna put the valve chest cover on. Now it's almost finished now, so I will hopefully be able to tune it up, because I hear some squeaking that shouldn't be there, and some extra bits I need to fix, but pretty sure it's just this rod squeaking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the rod. It's the rod. This rod here, rubbing against the holes on this piece. But that's alright. runs pretty well. Equal both ways. Using silicone lubricant because it doesn't interfere with the PLA too much. I think it's 3-in-1 brand stuff. Right now. Now I've got 2 of them. This one needs work, but it's pretty cool. Let's see the other one run next to it, because that's what I want to see. I want to see a side by side. They're not the same. Of course, they look the same, they've got the same design, but they run differently because they were made differently. That's just how making things works. Yeah, this one is silent. I can't beat this. I don't know if I'm beating this one. It's silent. I can't beat that one. But the one that I just made here, it needs a lot of tuning to get to that point. Well, I mean, the engine is now done. He's tuning, but that's gonna take a lot more time than I have time for here. Probably going to end the stream. The engine's finished. I guess I can just clean up, and then and the stream is ended. So I'm gonna put these two on display. And then I'll start cleaning up. But yeah, that's the end of the stream. Hope you guys found it, you know, a little bit of, what's the word, knowledge. Gained a little bit of knowledge out of it. Hope you enjoyed seeing the engine, the build process, and the running, tuning. Doesn't take very long, but it's pretty fun. Anyways, thanks for watching.